Yeah, man, I ain't did that in a minute, man. It's 2020, a new decade. We back again. This is 91.7 WVXU HD2 FM. Or you streaming us live on Radio Artifact. Ticket.com. I'm talking about, yeah, man. And this is Nomtombout Radio. Yeah, man. And we starting off the year good. We trying to help y'all start off y'all year good, man. We know everybody putting in their resolutions and everything right now. So we got my man X back in the building. But first, let my co-host introduce himself.
What's going on? Peace, peace, peace. Vibe one. We back at it again. It's the new year. Before we get started, I got to do like I always do. Peace and love to everybody on the KY side, Covington, Newport, Florence, Burlington, Erlanger, Campbell County, Bellevue, Dayton, all surrounding areas. Peace and love to the Natty. Let's get it popping. Yeah.
In 2020, I'm gonna follow up on him. I'm gonna start giving out shout outs too, man. Shout out to the makers of natural peanut butter. Shout out to people who mean something in my life. Shout out to all the women over the age of 65, man. You still beautiful to me. I don't care what they say. Shout out to yeah, man, everybody who's listening right now and supporting the show. We into like our 2.5 years, so man, y'all been rocking with us for a long time. But got a guest in the house today, and we like to have him at the beginning of every year, man, to try to get everybody back in tune, detoxed up, get you healthy. Make sure you take a few dumps a day. You shouldn't be just taking one dump a day. You need to take multiple dumps a day. So touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, have you taken more than one dump today? Get them bowels loose, man. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Peace and greetings. I am called Xman. It's an honor once again to be able to chop it up with y'all and powwow with y'all, man. Like I said, it's not only is this year it's the beginning of a new Gregorian calendar year, but it's the beginning of a new decade. So that makes things and puts things makes things different than that previously that we just came out of that last decade. So once again, it's an honor to be able to take part in this and mesh it up with y'all, man, giving reverence and acknowledgement to all those who are with us, who come after us and who came before us. I got to always make sure we keep that and mention that before we begin things. Begin all things by using our all.
I want you to kind of talk about how this decade, how we start a new decade in the whole Gregorian calendar. What does that mean exactly?
Well, if you can go online and Google things, of course, and find out and get information. There's a lot of things that's taking place in the cosmos, dealing with the planetary movements and different, cosmic relationships going on that's going to affect and that is affecting and has always affected this planet as well as the rest of the planets. So there's a lot of conjunctions going on, planetary crossings and things that's going to have a bearings and affect this place we call Earth and all its inhabitants. We just came out of one conjunction in the end of last month. There's one, I think that's the 10th, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 10th in a couple of days, in a few days. Or is it the 7th? I'm not, it ain't coming to me right now, but I know it's real soon. So these particular things have a balance on how the activity plays out on this plane. We talking about politically, we talking about power. A lot of these things, people became in positions of power because of these conjunctions. So that's why it's always kind of clue and important to pay attention to the stars in the cosmos.
So what is that forecast? What do you see happening? Well, how does that forecast? That's interesting. He interviewing me now.
We prepared. Well, it's like this: when you have the thing is to have your mind right. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of shit is going on. They said this is 2020, so a lot of clarity is coming to everybody. Everybody's like, it's going to be clear. But 2020 doesn't mean you have perfect vision. That's what is said and taught to us in the society, but it doesn't mean that has nothing to do with perfect vision. You have perfect vision when you have good perception. If you have perfect perception, then you have perfect vision, meaning if you're able to perceive things at a high level. So how it is going to affect and how it's affecting people, it depends on where your mind state is and how you're able to adjust and adapt to the changes that's taking place quickly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as we continue to roll through this, man, this thing is like a snowball effect. So you got to be able to have your mind right so you can even begin to even fathom what's really taking place. And that'll be a whole lot of what's going to happen this year is a lot of people are going to be like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. They're going to be like those three monkeys because they're not going to be ready and prepared to deal with the quick change of what's happening. So mentally, spiritually, and physically, we have to make sure that our bodies, man, our temples can adjust and adapt to these abrasive, non-stop alteration and changes that's coming, man. And we know health is the greatest wealth, so when you're healthy, you can adjust and you can have clarity. Because if you're not clear on ish, you ain't gonna be able to deal with ish. You know what I mean?
That's crazy because, like, I feel like innately, have you been feeling that vibe? That just like a time to get your mind right. You need to get things together. Do you feel like it's been more pressing on you than ever?
Nah, for some reason, when it comes to things that's outside of me, in terms of the universe and everything that X was just speaking on, there's always been a calm. I've always had a real chill calmness to me. Like, you know, some people will stockpile weapons and stockpile this and stockpile that and stockpile whatever. And there's times when I thought like that or whatever. But whenever I just go with my whatever my energy is, my spirit is, then I deal with it in that way. It's like I'm the type of person that's like, yeah, I can keep up and get this and have this stacked up and water and all the stuff like that. But I'm the type of person like, oh, if it went down, something went down, let's say what everybody kind of thinks about, if, you know, the ish hits the fan and this and that, you know, I know where to go and just take things when I need it, you know what I'm saying? Or
Not even like that. I'm just saying, do you feel like your nature, your intuition, does it pick up? Is it okay? Because not even a fear.
when you say that, that's what I'm just saying, like, that's what like a lot of people will go to. So, but for me, my intuition and all those things like that, I've never got to a point where I was just like, oh man, like I felt, I got to do this now. Because there's been times when almost like that. That's like years ago, they was thinking in 1995, ish was going to hit the fan and different things were going on. And then that didn't happen. And then 2000, everything was going to shut down. That didn't happen. So it's like, at a certain point, you got to go with what you feel. You learn and get different information, and you build with different people that you feel like you can get knowledge from, or some game or whatever the case may be. And then you just apply that to your life, and then you just got to be focused on what it is that you want to do, so that you're not, because see, sometimes for me, I feel like if you get focused on that and then you're not living, and you kind of like not scared, or if you boxed in or some kind of a way, a hermit or something like that, yeah, then next thing you know, 10 years went by and you ain't really lived, and you got these, for me, I got a family, I got children and all that I I would have not been able to communicate with, and then I have done them a disservice by not being open and being the type of dad that I needed to be, that they could learn something from. I'm just over here I make them be on some frantic stuff, going to school feeling some kind of way. So it's always been, my whole thing is I've always been a watcher.
Even more in their formative stages. So now it's instilled in them to go in.
Yeah. I was talking to my oldest son last night, and we were talking about my youngest son. He was like, I'm just amazed at how calm he is and how aware of who he is at 18. And my oldest son is 23. He was like, I'm not even all the way there now where he is. My youngest son, he ain't jump out there trying to worry about no girls. But for him, he wasn't concerned with trying to go to the school dance. He ain't try to go to the prom. He ain't go to none of the football games. He ain't go to the basketball games. He did what was to him gymnastics. He sings. He can rap, but he ain't even dabbed into that yet. He's just slowly processing, he's coming into his own at his own speed. I'm allowing him to come into his own at his own speed. Now, I need him to be responsible and all this stuff and stuff like that, and have a sense of self and under to overstanding about things. But that puts pressure on him to do anything or be anything other than who he feels he is. So that takes time for you to learn and see what the thing that's happened is like in this world that we live in. Some people have to do that stuff at an early age, and they don't really know. They done jumped out there and had a child, or they done jumped out there and got into the street life or something. They don't get a chance to allow themselves to grow into themselves and become a true man or a true woman, because they done just try to jump some steps. He ain't jumping no steps. So that's the vibe that I give off.
For the people who out here, maybe they watching the news all the time. Mm-hmm. This fear mongering is being put in their head. It's certain ways that you can de-stress your mind and things like that. Can you give us because this is, if y'all don't know, this is the herbalist, man. This is the naturalist. So he can get you together in a way that pills, it's just going to take another pill to get you back to where you need to be. So what's some things we can do to kind of detox our mind for the new year? Because without a clear mind, it's hard to get where you're going. You need to be able to have a clear mind.
Well, I would say scaling and what's the word I'm looking for? Channeling and guarding what you let in. How much we let in, that's the main thing. How and what we let in. And to go along with what Vibe was saying, he was speaking of the intuition aspect when he was relating to his intuition. When you are in tune with yourself, you'll know what to do no matter what else is happening.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But when you don't have a clue of you and who you are,
you open to every energy to come past you.
You just frantic. You all over. Like I said, when this didn't take place, we keep it moving. Yeah. Only way you can do that is to know yourself. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when you put into the journey within, knowing and attuning yourself and your rhythms to nature and having nature attuned to you, that's a harmony. That's called harmony. So it's like once you have a harmony with yourself and you got a pretty good basis of where you stand, you understand your character to a certain point. All those things play part in this, because if you don't have any of that, you're gonna be lost in the sauce and caught up in the tailspin. You can go whatever way the wind blows, that's where you're gonna go. Right. So to be prepared, once again, it starts within. You have to know you. You have to spend time with self. It's not so much important about how someone views you. How do you view yourself?
Yeah, self-image.
Everybody is into image that we can put onto the flat screen, the four corners. And what if we didn't have no screen? The people who don't have sight don't ever worry. They ain't taking no selfie. They ain't worried about that, because that's not their whole. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people shouldn't do selfism, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's the amount of energy and the amount of time that we use in putting into the image. The image, this society tells, well, Sprite tells you image is everything.
We living in like a narcissistic era where like people just constantly taking pictures of themselves. If you ever see somebody for real like taking selfies trying to get the perfect one, you be like, this is some of the corniest stuff I ever. Like I seen a girl yesterday. She didn't know I was behind her, but she was like, it's so narcissistic. Like focusing on your own energy instead of like how you can make somebody else's energy better.
Well, the thing is that's not a totally so-called wrong thing or bad or negative thing. It's just that it needs to be put into its correct, a more sound, correct perspective. Meaning, you're supposed to focus on yourself,
Right,
and your energies before you focus on anyone else and anyone else's energy. You got to know your energy and know your being. You got to know self. So it's just that it's how we're doing it and how we're taught, how the society is taught us to do it, and how much energy and time we put into it. So it's like, it ain't so much that you shouldn't do it. It's just how and what's the reasoning behind things, because everything that we do has a reason. So if we know the reason for why we're doing something, life gets simpler.
I remember I hit you up
It gets simpler.
and I was asking like, I'm just having problems trying to decide on what to do, and you was just like, use reason.
Use reason.
And it stuck with me, and I'd like, it's one of those things that just stuck with me for a while.
When one knows the reason why something take place or happens, everything gets simpler. It's when something happens and you tell yourself, I don't know why she would do this. I don't know why he would do that. Don't tell yourself that. Listen to reason. Listen to reason within yourself, within your being, and be like, okay, focus on what you do know.
Right.
Don't focus on what you don't know. That's idiotic. That's not intelligent.
It's like,
Focus on what you know. If I focus on what I know, then I will come to some point. I will come to a crossroad. I will come to a junction where I would know things, because I'm focused on what I know. I'm measuring it by what I know. Because when we say reason, let me say this. When we say reason, we mean who, why, what, where, which, when, and how. That's called 7 W's. We talked about that before on the other interviews. When we know the who, why, what, where, which, when, and how, what begins with a W and ends with a W, 7 W's. When you know those 7 W's, when we know these 7 W's, things get simple. We get back and return to the central, being the center of our own universe, our own suniverse, our own being, because we know the 7 W's. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, once that's established, and how, the reasoning, that is the reason. It's like, you don't focus on so much. If a person say, they having an argument, oh, you a B, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you a B, you a hoe, we can respond, you can respond to that, but if you know the reason why this person is saying that, then it should affect how you respond to it.
yeah, it create empathy too.
And if you don't use reason, you will get caught up in the tailspin of emotion, energy, emotion, and it can lead towards fighting death.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but when you know the reason why this person's saying it, the person said it, so it can move you to do, because y'all know we've been we old enough. We know when motherfuckers want to do something. You want to do something. You want to get down. You don't talk. You person says something to you to get you to do something. But if you don't respond to that, the motherfucker sits down and repeat itself. You heard people been saying when they get into arguments. That's right, bitch. That's right, bitch. And you're like, you don't respond to it, so they say it again because they ain't getting no response.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's proof. What's the reason that you're saying it? Because most of the time, the people who are saying it, because of the energy motion, man, we dealing with emotions, energy and motion, you have been possessed by a particular force and energy that's in the atmosphere at that time. So it makes the person say this stuff to get a rile out of you. So we talking about unseen forces within the atmosphere that What's the first thing that a person do when they get mad, when they get angry? First thing they do is this. They breathe in. So then, in Al-Islam, we know that's al-samun, the poisonous wind. Everybody, before they get mad, they breathe in. So you just breathe in those beings, that force, and that force gets in you and causes you to say harmful things, do things that's not really what a person want to do. Mm-hmm. If you look at people before they get them, they take that breath in. So that type of recognition and knowing these type of things, man, being mindful of these type of things can have an effect on the outcome of our situations and how we deal in our day-to-day dealings, man.
So we need to be mindful of the things that we ingest, whether it be through our ears, our eyes,
skin,
smell,
everything.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is to have a sound mind, to be attuned with yourself. Like Bob was saying, that intuition is very, very big right now. It's going to be very important for this decade. Intuition, meaning you are into it. Look at the word intuition. The first thing you see is into it. You got to be into it. Into you. You got to be into it. That is what will create an intuit mission, is intuition. You'll be like, yeah, okay. If I'm into myself, knowing my rhythms, I've developed some rhythm with myself. I've developed some acknowledgement. I've developed a system with myself. And I stick to this system. I stick to this practice. I stick to this exercise. Then whatever happens, I'll be fine because I've implemented my system. I've been using and practicing the exercise in my system. So when something happens, I can handle stuff, no matter what it is.
And I think that's a lot of, like if you look at people who kind of don't know themselves, it's always that it's never a structure. It's like, I'm just
chaos.
in the wind with it.
It's chaos.
So how do you keep grounded? How can you develop a system for somebody who might not know and they want to do it?
Well, you have to keep things simple. The thing is not to do overthinking, irrational thinking. You have to keep stuff simple. I call it KISS. Keep it sound and simple. You know what I'm saying? Is if you feel yourself being agitated by something, you stop and you reverse it. You know what I'm saying? You stop what's agitating you. So if your thoughts is agitating you, then you need to instantly stop right there thinking about whatever the heck you're thinking about. It's real simple. You know, it's not a complex thing. You know, everything is about commerce these days, and people, you know, a life coach. Now, what kind of foolishness is that? No disrespect to whoever do
That's
it.
That's a cold hustle right there.
That's a pimp. That's just pimping at its easy. It's like, but that's when you don't know yourself, that's how you know. We live in a society of beings and people who don't know themselves because they need life coaches. That right there, it lets you know what type of mind state the people and the beings are on this planet. Starting within our communities, starting within our neighborhoods, starting within our cities and states and towns or whatever, and regions, and branching on out across the planet. It lets you know where it's at. If a person can become a life coach, this planet is in a disarray. It's in a disarray. That right there, I mean, never, ever, ever, for eons, we have existed forever, man.
Yeah.
And we've never needed a life coach.
But that show you how out of it, instead of intuition, we out of it. We're out of the loop of ourselves. What do you do to stay grounded, Vibe? I know you always working out.
Man, that exactly what he was, that last piece of what he was saying, keeping it simple. And we talked about before, like, what we feel being successful at something is, or what our thoughts, like back in the day, we would say somebody rapping at 25 we thought was old. Then it was at 25, rapping at 25.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or rapping at 30, or because we was looking at it, we're looking at it as less than what it was, as less than what we were doing with it. You know, it wasn't a thing about a fad, or it wasn't a thing about, this is let's be hot or whatever. It became a thing. We knew we were gonna have to. We knew we were the type of people that were going to be transmitters, because all these conversations we would be having with each other or with other people, just all the type of information and knowledge and everything that we were starting to experiences that we were coming into. So we knew, all right, the best way to get this off would be through, and we love music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He loved music for the way he loves music, and for his reasons for love music. I loved music the way I loved it and for the reasons that I loved it, and we just put it all together. But at a certain point, you just started to, like you said, you keep it simple, because sometimes you think it's too vast. The world is so vast, but at the same time, you simplify it, it's so simple.
Yeah.
And you looking through that little, you know what I mean, that little peephole, and you staying focused on, all right, just like you saying with the working out. I could have been like, could have been overwhelmed, and probably throughout the years, I didn't, start working out to the age that I started working out, because it took maturity to discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So discipline for me
is
a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Discipline is a big thing for me.
As a man, how important is discipline?
It's so very important, because if you're not disciplined, you can be knocked off of your throne, so to speak, by anything or anybody. You know what I'm saying? You might get my 1 foot off, but I'm still putting it back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like staying focused. And
how much do you see that your discipline, the older you get, how much do you see that your disciplines are intertwined? Like, you having a bad day on what you eat can lead to it just being a domino effect of other bad choices, knocking you out of your discipline.
Yeah, you eat something instead of something to give you some nutrients or energy. You eat something that's
Corral, for example.
You're gonna be like, everything that you knew you're supposed to do for the rest of the day is done. You about to are you gonna need a nap at least?
Then that's putting you behind schedule.
Yeah, you're going to be behind schedule, what it is that you wanted to do. But it's just, to me, that's number one. I guess knowing self,
yeah.
to answer your question, knowing self, and then discipline, and then true, unconditional, true love for self, and then those that are around me. Because I love myself, and then I see my brothers, blood and spiritual, my sisters, blood and spiritual, and I love them in a way to where it's unconditional, and it's the truest form that I know.
Yeah,
it's the truest form. Like, if you finally with me, I know you coming to the crib to work, to do some music or whatever. The door's unlocked. Come on in. Everybody don't get that text.
Yeah.
Come on in, come on up. The door's unlocked.
Yeah.
You gotta wait till you get there, you knock. You know what I'm saying? But if I got to a certain position with you, understanding and the love level with you, or what respect, come on in, bruh. The door unlocked. You ain't got to knock, and then come on up to the room. You ain't even got to worry about, is everything cool? I'm gonna tell you if everything ain't cool. When you get here, hold up. I gotta clean the room. When you get here, hold up. Wifey ain't dressed yet. Hold up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you those obvious stuff that you gotta, wait, and cause out of respect, you ain't just walking in on nobody. But other than that,
that'll be wild.
You got. Other than that, that's what I would say. Knowing myself, figuring out who and what I want and what I am and what I'm not, and being who it is, what I know I am to the best of my ability. Discipline, unconditional, and true love.
Love for self.
Love for self.
What did you want to come in with? I seen you.
What was that? What did you say again? What was that last thing you asked?
How do you stay grounded?
No. Well, we'll just go off of this. Like Vibe said, it's, it requires acknowledgement, knowing. It's about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Mm-hmm. Some say understand so you can overstand. Knowledge is the information. That's just 1/3. That's the first part. You still have to get the wisdom and the understanding. Everybody gets to knowledge and stops. They get the information and think they got it. And our people don't lack information. They like to know what to do with the information, the knowledge.
Yeah.
This is what the issue is.
Yeah.
So when he said you have to have that discipline, which is order.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you have a discipline, you become a disciple with yourself, and you have order with yourself, then it does something to it. Creates an energy, it creates an aura, it creates a spirit, which is energy, with yourself. And the more order and discipline one has with itself, then their life becomes ordered and disciplined.
Yeah.
And anything that doesn't comply or harmonize or complements your order, there's going to be an issue.
I've been hearing that a lot lately. Like, you need to get the things out of your life that don't serve you, that don't serve you being a greater you. And I think that's part of discipline too. That's part of the order. If this don't go with the plan, it need to be eliminated.
If there has to be something established,
Yeah.
for something to be practiced and exercised, there has to be an establishment. It has to be a foundation. It has to be established that this is what this is. But if that's not done, there cannot be ain't nothing gonna happen. You can't build a house or a structure without a foundation. So if there's no foundation to something, you're just jacking off, man. You see what I'm saying? It's gonna
Nothing wrong with that.
It's gonna depend on who you are. That's nothing. Whatever floats your boat. I'm just saying. I was talking about,
It's part of my discipline.
yeah, what I'm speaking of is mental ejaculation. Mental ejaculation, because that's going on a whole lot. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people don't even realize, and since you even took it there, so I'm going to go there. For you to get a results with that process, it's the mind that stimulates it. You have to think of something gratifying. You see what I'm saying? So that's proof that it's still the mind.
Yeah.
Ain't no way around it. Everything is ushered. Everything is happening because of mental power. The greatest power is mind power. So once again, people say, well, I'm just going to do me. Well, for you to do you, you must know you.
Yeah.
You must understand you. You must be in tune with you. You must be willing to take the bitter with the salt, the sweet, all that. You see what I'm saying? Because that is what helps us, man. So it's like, I hear so many people always say, I'm gonna do me, and when people give advice, you should just do you. It's like, and what is that? You do you what? Do what to me? But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can take it there now. What we coming up in this decade, getting back to what we were saying, this time and this moment, man, everything we say is of such grave importance, because we have been speaking so loosely, so incorrectly, using incorrect syntax, that this shit is ridiculous. Excuse my French. This issue is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We got to start using correct syntax all the time.
Right.
If I'm speaking to you, I shouldn't have to say, you know what I mean. If I'm expressing what I'm saying correctly, you'll know what I'm talking about. I won't have to say that. You won't have to guess.
And the people who use that a lot of times are the people who having a hard time expressing themselves.
Self.
Yeah.
So you see why it's important. The syntax is, we got to get in the time. So a lot of times it may not be meant to do a lot of speaking. It's just a lot of listening and a lot of doing.
And the more you know yourself, you figure like the more that you see how impactful your words are, so the more you choose them.
Because
you choose them differently.
True. Now 199, because who should they impact first?
You.
Before, and that's what I'm saying, that eliminates the life coach and all these other factions out here that people need assistance for all this, you know what I'm saying? If you know that what I'm saying, I train myself to listen to me, because no one can teach me better than me. So I had to train myself to listen to me. When I transmit it, like, oh man, yeah, that's deep. Oh, Xman, you got this, you got this. It's for me first, then it's for you. Always. So I'm saying that keeps you humble, man. and that keeps you from thinking, I know more than this person. So I'm saying it takes that ego, our ego, and keeps our ego in check. So it's like when I transmit, it's for me first,
Yeah.
and I don't mind hearing it over and over again because that just means what? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
The more I hear it, the more it's in. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the truth, I don't ever mind hearing it over and over. Now, if it's a lie, who wants to listen to a lie over and over?
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody wants that.
And
But
the
if
truth
it's
is attractive.
but if it's the truth, you should want to hear it as many as time.
You don't eat meat either, do you? Do
No,
you
I
eat
don't-
meat?
No, I don't consume meat. I don't consume flesh.
You don't eat meat. I think that's interesting, seeing the type of music that y'all both do.
It speaks for
That's-
itself.
Yeah, and y'all don't eat meat. Y'all don't do certain things. How do you think that influences you being able to know yourself, your intuition,
You want to
not having that in your vessel?
before I get into it,
Yeah. And of course, we're gonna get to some herbs and all that stuff too, man. But
and this new project, we gotta make sure we talk about this new project real quick too.
I can't wait to hear.
But
that.
for me, I feel like we were already going in that. Well, like I said before, I think on one of the other shows before, it was certain things that I just never was eating anyway from a young child. And then right around somewhere in my mid-20s, we just decided to just try to be better, get better. What will help keep the mind clear? What will help keep our keep my blood clean, and just my physical temple together? Because I could have a good mental and a good spiritual, but if my vessel that's responsible for making me move about and get from place to place to deal with people or deal with situations, if it ain't right, then it's just not going to be able to be used properly. Everything got to be hitting on all cylinders or whatever. So initially, the thing was just to be as healthy as possible. Now, after I did it, you don't know what it's going to do until you do it.
Right.
So, but after I did it, and then a little time goes by, whatever, you feel sharper. You feel maybe even like more compassion and stuff. Because the more you eat flesh, that flesh had to get killed for
It's
you
got
to
a
eat it.
vibration on it.
Yeah, so it's like once you get away from all that stuff, you kind of just, I don't know, you smell different. Your body smells different, but you smell things different.
Right.
You look at things. It's just more for me. It's just everything is just more of a pure. It's just more pure. I guess is the best. I think that's the best way I can say it. I mean pure in the sense of for exactly what something is used for is, or for exactly what something is supposed to benefit you, is exactly how I see it, and it's exactly how it affects me. So I don't have nothing blocking me to help. Say if I need to, if I'm taking a herb for some ginkgo to use, so I can remember my verses or something like that. But if I got a whole bunch of other stuff blocking, clogging, mucus or whatever, that's throwing me off. I can't even focus on it because I'm all in a messed up state, like not really ever being sick. That's a plus.
I was reading something where food is information for our cells, and pretty much the dumber the food is, which meaning like a weaker structure of the food, it's gonna make your cells weaker, making your immune system weaker, making your person weaker, and certain stuff you just never think about on that level, but it makes sense. Like everything is on a cellular level.
cellular and molecular, macro and micro.
Yeah.
What he was saying with the purity, when something's pure, is not diluted. The less diluted something is, the purer it is. So if one is eating a pure form of food and nutrition, then that vibration, that memory, hits and activates and gets with your memory and creates clarity in you because of the less diluted, the less dilution, the less delusion. See, you see what I'm saying? So it's like if you clear the clear food that you eat, the less diluted food that we consume, the less diluted we'll be. That's the easiest way to give it something. Talking about something's pure. If something's pure, it's not diluted. You know, a person can be pure evil, pure rotten. I'm saying rotten is rotten, but is it pure rotten? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the more the foods and things that we consume that has less dilution, you know, it's not diluted. The more cleaner and clean you will have, because everything has a frequency. It's a
Right.
spirit. It's an energy. So if I'm eating pure stuff, that purity is going to have an effect on me. It's real simple. If you're eating dead food, dead food is
Dead
going to help
energy.
you die.
Yeah.
Got that death frequency. You eat live food is going to help you live. It's real. See, it's simple, man. This thing is all about simplicity. It's like we make the reason that it's become so commercial in business, you know, the whole natural and vegan and vegetarian things, you know, we've spoken on this before, not knocking anyone who's doing what they're doing and their livelihood. We're just saying when you keep it simple and when things are simple, there's no need for a lot of things that we think it's a need for. It's not. It's like things are created, jobs are created, um, conditions are created, and it's like if I create something, then I can sell you the antidote.
Right.
If I
Create a
can-
problem and a solution.
If I can, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna create the problem, then I'm gonna sell you the solution.
Speaking of problems, I remember the first time we talked, Xman talked about how your relationship with sugar that you used to have. And
Still fighting it.
still fighting. It's something that's gonna always be with you. But I was reading something where it talked about the link between sugar and dementia. And sugar pretty much will deteriorate your frontal lobe, which makes your memory,
Shredded.
that fogginess that you might get
Sugar.
from sugar.
That's sugar.
And carbs that break down into sugar. And people think, oh, I'm gonna eat low fat. And some fats break down into sugar. So even when they tell you low fat,
So see, but once again, this is you touch something with that syntax. The syntax, man, it's all about the language. The reason that there's so much suffrage and there's so much imbalance is because the syntax, incorrect syntax.
right,
Low fat. The hell?
compared to what?
Where's the middle fat? Where's the high fat?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? How
Right.
can that be a low fat if there's not these other things? Because nature deals with opposites. So if there's an intellect, there has to be an outellect, and it is, because it's outellect, and when you turn outellect into intellect,
And how can you have one without the other? You wouldn't notice one without the other to balance it out.
and if you're not speaking about both, why are you speaking about one? Because that's imbalance.
Right.
That creates sickness, that creates disease, because we lack the correct syntax. So we are poisoning and sickening our own selves just by our language, man. You see what I'm saying? And once we correct that language, that everything turns around. You see what I'm saying? You feel it's all about the language.
Now I'm talking about.
No,
You got to
I'm
know
talking
what you're talking
You
about.
gotta know what you're talking about.
What are you saying? What spells are you casting?
Everybody is speaking and using, you know. I remember when Obama was came in. I remember the feminized, man. Our Nubian sister, our New Boonans feminized was like, oh, he sounds so intelligent. He speaks so eloquent. They was just that's all they needed. He was Nubian, you know what I'm saying? We got a so-called black person. We got a Nubian. And but he speaks so eloquent. That's all they needed to hear.
A lot of
They-
times people say
they
that
didn't hear
because
nothing
they
else.
know they
That's what
don't
a reverend-
understand.
But that's what a reverend does. That's what a pimp. I mean, you know, that's what a pimp do.
Yeah.
That's what preachers and things. That's what's going on in religion. Because he's dressed, he's smelling good, looking good, and he's saying things that make you feel good. And then you just like, you see what I'm saying? They just
The work is done.
So we can no longer fool with what's being said. We got to know what the heck is being said. And that's the only way you can get to that is to deal with facts all the time. Deal and keep it simple. Know the origins, correct syntax. If you feed a computer incorrect syntax, what's going to happen to the computer? It's going to malfunction.
Or it's
We-
not going to complete the task you
It's
wanted to
not gonna
complete.
which is a malfunction.
Yeah.
We are malfunction
Yeah.
because we have incorrect syntax, but we think we're intelligent speaking all this. Oh, I have my BA and this and that. It's incorrect syntax. It's simple. We don't just put it like this. One could say, we know our kind, New Boonin, people who have carbon, what they call melanin. They say, when we meet somebody, we say, "What's up?" Bro say, "What's up, my nigga?" or whatever. "What's up?" You know what it is, man. Same thing, so and so, yada yada. We keep it real, you know. But you know, when you're dealing with the other races, you're dealing with the pale people, the pale face, the lepers. They say what? "How are you, Jim?" "I'm fine, and you?" You know, "How's the dog?" And it just goes on into. It takes too much syntax. We're simple beings.
Yeah.
"What up?" You know what it is, man. You going to the spot I'll meet you down there later. All right, pop, pop, pop. See, it's a simple. We're talking about different natures, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I use that just to make my point that it's all about simplicity. So the things that sound good and sound full doesn't necessarily mean it's the best.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's
A lot of
easy.
times just a lot of fluff.
It's nothing but that. Because the simple thing, nature deals with simplicity. There's nothing in nature complex.
Yeah.
He sit up there and someone come along, a scientist sit up there and say this is complex because he can't comprehend it. It ain't complex. It's complex, it's simple, but you trying to figure out a way how can you make some money off of this. You see what I'm saying?
So I don't want you to understand how simple
so
it
I
is.
got to change this word to supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah.
See, they put all these big scientific words on these packages and labels because they know we don't like to read. So it's like, man, I ain't got time to sit down. I don't know what is this? What? Monodiglyceride. You see what I'm saying? I think it's having a problem with that syntax. You see?
Yeah.
It should just say poison. We'll get it. It's like, that shit not poison.
But you would never buy it if it just said that.
So I put this so you won't know.
Yeah.
So we have to get and become more responsible, man. This decade is about how to keep things simple, be simple, and deal with factions only, meaning what? The correct syntax. Because that is what will keep the mind, I hate to say a free mind, but it keeps a free dome, because that's what freedom is. Freedom is about your mind being free, your dome being free, meaning you can choose at your will, not choosing in the vending machine, because everybody think they got free will, and you're standing in the vending machine, choosing from the options that are offered you.
Free will is sometimes the biggest jail you can live in. Just
It's
if
an
you don't know
illusion.
what to
There's
do
no
with
such thing.
Yeah.
That's not. First of all, there's no such thing as free. That's incorrect syntax, because Almighty Nature laws teach us and impart to us that everything is interdependent. There's no such thing as free. We name things this to be able to move through a process to make stuff happen down here on this plane. But there ain't nothing free. There's no such thing as whatever you put in and what you get out.
Yeah.
That's the law of the universe. So how can that be free?
I think that's a good time to good transition. What you put in is what you get out. We talking about healthy minds. You want a clearer mind for the new year. I know you was talking about ginkgo. Can you explain the effects of ginkgo and some other stuff we can use to kind of like wash our mind, detoxify our minds, get our mind together?
Ginkgo, you got ginseng, you got ginkgo, you got gotu kola. Once again, it's different herbs and plants, because herbs are plants. They will assist and help you. We can go through a list. You can go on Google and Google this stuff. Google good herbs, best herbs for mental clarity, mental stress, relaxation, and it'll give you lists. The reason I'm saying this is because this is available now for everyone. We can't use a lot of time speaking on that when you can just tell them to go look it up, because they look everything else up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, it's amazing how everybody is fast with everything else. But when it comes to facts, it gets slowed down. See, when it comes to facts dealing with our kind, New Boonin people, then we got to feed them baby steps and baby food. That's the only time you got to take baby steps is when you're dealing with facts. How can that be? Every time it comes to dance, anything else, party, drugs, sex, whatever, ain't nobody moving slow. You don't have to take baby steps. But when it comes to facts, you gotta take baby steps. So that's a
Because the truth is often
that's a condition.
It's like the truth is a call to action, and people don't want to.
It's a spell.
It's gonna make you want to
You're
grow,
bullshitting.
have to grow.
You're bullshitting yourself.
Yeah.
And so we're in the moment in time. We gotta stop bullishing, man. We ain't got no time for that. You are responsible. You gotta learn what respond. Responsible means able to respond. You see what I'm saying? We gotta be responsible across the scale. And that starts with self. You can't be responsible for somebody else until you're fully responsible for yourself. Once you're responsible for yourself, then you can assist and get with another. If I'm responsible and you're responsible, then we ain't gonna have no problem in naturally linking up to create and build whatever we need to build.
Mm.
That's how it works. It doesn't work. I want to get with you. We need to get together, but you're not responsible. I'm not responsible. You responsible and I ain't responsible. We ain't gonna build nothing. It ain't gonna last.
Mm-hmm.
Like the brother was saying, and I do agree with what he was saying. He was talking about generations, wealthy and rich. When you're doing something you can pass for generations, keep going. That's effective.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks for itself. The proof is in the pudding. We built monuments that are still here, mounds and pyramids and temples. You see what I'm saying? You can't argue that. That's effective throughout ages of time. So this is the same way we have to be with our being and doing this, man. We are at the brink of a time that we have to be like that. We got to be on it. Mm-hmm. And it's real simple. And, we ain't got to look far ahead. Just keep that narrow vision right here. You got broad vision, but it's focused vision.
All the foods that we was just talking about that's like negative for you, everything is a clouding of your focus. Everything is to take you off your path. So, like, is it a herb for that, for focus, or is it just you got to get concentrated on you and making you better?
That's first. And then the plants are here to assist us.
Mm-hmm.
Plants are nature.
Yeah.
So there are herbs that you can take for certain types of enhancement, certain types. First of all, like we said back in the original interview, you got to clean yourself out first. You got to clean your blood out and your bowels out. Once you do that, the detox of your blood and your bowels, everything else will follow suit.
It's the multiple dumps I was talking about.
Everything else follows suit. So it's like once you realize that, okay, once we realize and accept that, okay, for me to do better, going off of my project, the last project called Gorilla City, you can't go realer until you be realer. We can't go to a place of realness until you're being real. Once you're being real, then you don't even have to go to realness because you already been it. See what I'm saying? It's real simple. Mm. But when we get caught up in, once we say, what can I do? My question the statement that I would say to you is ask yourself, what am I doing? Before you ask, what can I do? What am I doing? Mm-hmm. You got to know what you're doing first, because people don't even know they're harming themselves. So if you don't and not aware that you're harming yourself, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
I'll hand you a gun so you can shoot yourself.
You're just taking the slow route otherwise.
Yeah, go and get it over with. I need the air to breathe.
You smoke crack, don't you? Joe Clark on him. Jump off the building. Hey, that's crazy, man. What up?
I want to make sure we get into this the project before we leave, because I'm gonna have to bounce soon. So let's tell everybody about this project. What's it called? What it's about? What's on the project? All the nicks and crannies.
First and foremost, give it up, the reverence for Vibe One Neo assisting me in this. This is produced, mixed, and recorded at Virgo Lair. We did it all. We bang it all. Basically, it's like this. It's 10-seat tone. But the things that we're speaking of today is what can be done in dealing with this new, fresh decade and beginning of the year, this Gregorian year and whatnot. So the Grand Spirit, the Great Mother Spirit put up on me to make the planet and having a positive effect and add to other positive things taking place on the on the planet when it's in such a disarray, it's about the tones. The tones is a form of syntax. So this product, this CD, is a small compilation, 10 selections of tones and some harmonizing. It may throw you off. You might not see Xman coming with the harmony. You know, the Monkey Paw Priest and AEO. And we got some things on here, but it's all tone, it's all healing. So this was outspired and inspired to bring to the planet and present to the planet to combat a lot of these wrong tones, a lot of these, I say incorrect tones, incorrect syntax, a lot of these lame low. This is something that gets you high.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? So, like I said, 10th seat, the reason that it's called 10th seat is because it's inspired by the 10th elder and that transmit through me to give this to mother chuckers.
It's inspired by the 10th what?
The 10th elder of the 24 elders.
Okay. Who was that?
Yahuel is the elder, the 10th elder out of the 24 elders. The 24 elders are the 24 elders, wise men that you hear they speak about in religion that sits around the throne of the Most High.
Okay.
So this was transmitted to me from that source to give to the beings on this planet, those who are worthy. It's for the whole planet, but those who are worthy will really benefit from it.
So what did the 10th seat, what did he represent? What was it? Kind of give us some backstory on him.
The 10th seat, Yahuel, is the 10th seat dealing with the chakra of the heart. Meaning, once your heart is pure and your heart is right, then we can begin to make things right.
Yeah.
Dealing with the 8th ray. So it's like, if you know anything about 10, the number 10, the number or the numeral 10 is a line and a 0. That's binary code. We'll have to get into that another time. But binary is what the binary code is what things are made of. That's binary code dealing with molecular structures, cells, all that. And so this particular project is a culmination of tones, elemental tone, a balancement tone is on here. We deal with the Ta, Mu, Nefuset, earth, water, air, and fire. We deal with a Mazun, which is balance, a supreme balance chant. It's once you get in tune and get clear with yourself, then you can heal yourself through tones. So once you add the tones along with the plants, I ain't no stopping you. See what I'm saying? So they all go together.
Yeah.
They all go together. So this is what we do. Yeah, we spit lyrics. We say,
Do you have herbs per track that you should ingest while listening to certain songs?
nah, this is just tones. You can ingest any herb that deals with moving, purgatory, detox and clean, and this is the tones is not so much like it's a formula that you can sell. This is a natural thing, meaning it's not about a package. Once everybody get to realize that you are the package.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. This is formulated to help one assist by listening to these tones. It will help move you to develop, to create your own tones, because everyone has a tone. And once you use your tone for you and you exercise and practice it, then you begin healing yourself. You become powerful. You empower yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't need a life coach to empower you. You start empowering yourself.
I know y'all got to get up out of here real quick. We're going to do some quick fire real quick and just throw out some herbs that can help this. Alkalinity. Just
Acidity.
for people like so people at home can go get whatever they need for acidity. What would you suggest?
You saying alkalinity is
If somebody want to get more alkaline.
start with water. That's the simplest thing.
I know you said last time put lemon in it.
lemon, start with water. Just drink some clean water.
Okay.
A good form of clean water.
Okay. Detox.
It's a must. You should do that at least definitely you can do it as many times as you need to throughout a year, but you definitely detox every season.
What's some herbs we can use for that?
Red clover, yellow dock, dandelion, red clover, dandelion, alfalfa, burdock, real good ones.
Yeah.
Real good. I'll just stay with those.
Focus and clarity.
Focus and clarity, lots of water, and ginseng, Siberian ginseng. You can do some ginkgo. You can do some gola cola. You might not want to do them all the time. That's what I'm saying. It's a science to the herbs, to the plants. People, you can't just take. A lot of people are so filthy and they have issues. So by them taking this, it's going to create something. You follow what I'm saying? So you have to have it's a science to it. It's not. That's what I'm saying. Everybody is out here selling stuff and trying to make. It's like, nah, man, it ain't about that. We have to let the people know and reteach them and rewire them to deal with the science of plants versus the art. You know, because you can easily get on there and Google and much can tell you take this and it'll help with this. Yeah, but it's a science. You have to know the science, because if you are already a toxic person and you take some, that's like when a person starts a juice fast. A person says, I want to do a juice fast. They start out doing the juice fast, right? And they feel good the first 2 or 3 days. Then after that third day, it knocks them down. Why? Because all the toxins that they got in their body has been stirred up by the fruits, by the juice. So they feel great at first, and then it knocks them down. You know, you've experienced it, and once you come out, then the person never touch it again because it knocks them. They're like, man, I feel awful. And the reason you felt good at first because the body is responding to the vitality.
Yeah.
But once that fruit, the natural fruit sugars catch up with your toxin, it stirs up a party, and it turns into an ugly situation. And you go down. So we gotta be mindful. It ain't just about saying, take this, get this, but it's a science. Move slow. When you move fast, you miss stuff.
Okay.
But if you move slow, you ain't gonna miss nothing. You know what I'm saying? When you moving slow, you are more cautious and aware of what's taking place. But if you move real fast, you can miss that. But if you move slow, you ain't gonna miss it. What's the percentage of you missing something going fast and the percentage you missing something going slow? So this thing is a consistent. The thing is about moving. You can move at a turtle speed.
As long as it's consistent.
As long as it's consistent, don't matter what. As long as it's consistent, be slow. But if it's persistent and consistent, consistency yields great results.
Right. And one last thing.
10-seat tones.
Where can they find it at?
They can get it from me. It's coming out February. I think it's going to be February 6th. And it's on Bandcamp right now. And I'm trying to set up the other. I'm contemplating to set up the other social media factions. So
you gotta get it. You got to, bro.
But you can contact me 513-413-1386. You can email me at yuhuel number 10 at gmail.com. And we can get it to you. But you can go to Bandcamp, Xman Band, TST, 10th Seat Tone, TST Xman Bandcamp. It'll pop up. 10 selections, and free will offering, donation of $9. This is healing. $9 fiat, $9. This is healing. And you either gonna gravitate towards this or you're not. But it's what the planet needs. Like we say in Monkey Paw Breeze, I ain't give you what you want, but I give you what you need.
All right, one last thing for y'all before you get up out of here. Sleep is a rejuvenation process. It's a good way to eliminate toxins. Also, what type of herbs can we take to make sure we get the best sleep we can get?
Ginseng will help. Chamomile is a good. what's that bark?
Marshmallow.
Nah, marshmallow is good. That's a lubricant. Chamomile, peppermint's okay. Some forms, sometimes kava. I'm drawing a blank, man.
That's cool, man.
I'm drawing a blank.
You on fire, man. You gave him too much already, man.
I'm drawing a blank, but you can easily go online and Google what's best herbs to aid in sleep, and it'll pop up all kind. I'm trying to think of the one, the bark that what I gave. It smells up your whole crib. I can't even come to me.
That's cool. When we figure it out, man, we're gonna put it up on the Instagram, Nomtombout _radio, NOMTOMBOUT _radio, or follow us on Facebook, Nomtombout NOMTOMBOUT. Make sure you get 10th Seat Tone by my man Xman.
The Monkey Paw Priest.
Yeah, man.
AKA the Xman. AKA SKA UL.
And it's also mixed and mastered by the co-host Vibe One.
Vibe One, another Vibe One Productions. I don't do much without Neo. Ain't too much going down with this being right here.
And one last time, tell them where they can reach you at.
513-413-1386. Email yuhuel10@gmail.com. And if you really want to contact me, those are the really contact. But if you haven't, then, light a candle and call me.
Yeah.
You want to go into that level. You want to go into something, but don't call me on no bullish. I don't want to hear. I'm not for debates. I'm not entertainment. So I'm gonna be able to read through all whatever, So I don't expect many people to contact me no way. So that's just where it is. When you're dealing with what we deal with, you don't get many calls. You don't get many calls.
Yeah, the truth, man. People
don't get many calls. People sit up, they'll listen to this, and
they gonna hit you up though, man. I know they gonna hit you up.
I don't.
The right people.
Really, I'm not concerned whether you hit me up. I'm more concerned with what you getting, what we've been sitting here discussing.
Yeah, man. The people looking for truth,
that
they gonna find it.
I don't need you contacting me. Nah, not really.
Well, tell them how they can get in touch with you, Vibe.
Mr. Vibe One on Instagram, Vibe One on Facebook. That's VIBE-ONE on Facebook, VIBEONE on Twitter. The Watusi Tribe on Facebook, WATUSI, and the number 7 Watusi on Instagram, WATUSI. E.S.A.ENT@gmail.com for all booking, mixing, mastering, anything that's with music, production, all that. Also soon to come, physical training and all that coming up soon in the new year from your boy. So you want to get fit, come get Vibe fit. You feel me? And that's it. Oh, I got a show coming up. I got 2 shows coming up. February 20th.
He left you hanging, man. I get you why he got you.
I thought he was trying to get the mic.
Yeah.
February 20th at Woodward Theater for Thrive, and then February 22nd, Path of a Pisces, 223 Dunn Street, Cincinnati, Ohio. I can't remember the name of the venue, but shout out to Natural Onyx. That's her event that she's putting on. She got her brother on the bill. Peace.
The shout out to the plenipotentiary of the planet, Chief Nanya Shabuel. Much respect, white power always. Thanks and reverence to you, brother 6. Give me a solid pound and keep it all round. Vibe 1, give me a solid.
You gotta explain that white power real quick before we leave.
It's the frequency. Black has no standing at law. We're gonna give you the Turtle Island riddle. One name, Chief Nanya Shabuel. 2 letters, SF. 3 numbers, 181. Google it. YouTube. That's my gift to you, mother chuckers.
Yeah, man. This has been Nomtombout Radio, man. Again, follow us on Instagram, Nomtombout_radio. Follow us on Facebook, Nomtombout. My name is Six. You can follow me on Instagram, Blaze6513. Also check out the Type Ish podcast. We got a live podcast coming up January 30th, right here at Park Place Restaurant in Forest Park. Man, and we got a heat rock for you this month. You got to be in the house, man. We talking about the challenges of dating and relationships in the black community, man. I know we all got some type of form of we all got our problems in relationships, man, especially dealing with each other, man. So come out, how your piece heard. We're gonna be talking about everything from how the music influence our relationships to just how we interact with each other, man. So holla at me if you would like to be a vendor at the event. You can hit me up at 6 Cents Media, SIXXSENSEMEDIA. Hit me up if you would like to be a vendor. I think that's pretty much it for right now, man. Make sure you check out Inner Space, the album by me, man. It's got some dope tracks on there. Now I'm talking about, yeah, you can also, you can find.
We shot you out on it.
Hey.
It's on Yahoo, the 7-track food. Now I'm talking about, it's an hit, yeah.
Hey, yeah. So check that out, man. End of the month, we also got I did a podcast with a Mojo podcast. They've been mentioned inside City Beat, but we talked a lot about the shows, and there's a lot of good information on there too. So shout out to them. Until next time.
I'll give you a jewel for your event that's coming up when y'all doing the relations. Stop calling yourself black, and your relationship will automatically get better.
Might have to remake the flyer, man. But, man, we appreciate y'all hanging out, man. We're going to see y'all next Wednesday and every Wednesday here on 91.7 WVXU HD2 or stream us live on radioartifact.com. Man, check out all the old episodes on Spotify, Nomtombout Radio, YouTube, Nomtombout Radio, man. Nomtombout. Yeah.
Peace.
That I forgot for the new year, huh? Yo.